If you are looking for a powerful visual development tool for WordPress, then I encourage you to check out Builderius. Builderius is a page builder that gives you full control over its output. First, you have the templating engine that allows you to create any kind of template with any condition that you want. It is also compatible with other page builders, so you can basically run Builderius with your full site editing or your Elementor website or your Bricks website or whatever website page builder you're using. And what happens is you simply create the template that you want it to control. It doesn't control any other part of the website, only the parts that you have given it access to. Then you also have access to your clean HTML output and a powerful CSS management. The CSS is all exposed to you, so you don't have any builder CSS that is hidden away. All the CSS is exposed to you and you can control it. In the Pro version, you have access to the code itself, so you can write everything in code, whereas in the free version, you are restricted to using the UI, but every CSS is still exposed to you. You also have access to 3 layers of CSS, which I will explain in a future video. Next, you have a powerful dynamic data engine, which is powered by GraphQL. It works with your regular post content, with custom post types, with your MetaField plugins, especially ACF and MetaBox, or even external sources and external JSON files. You can use that to pull in data into your WordPress website and control it visually using the UI. Then you also have access to components. So you can create different components you want for maybe your cards or things that are reusable on different parts of your website. You can create them as components, and it is quite easy to create. In the free version, you will be restricted to only the header and footer component, but in the Pro version, it gets unlocked and you can access any kind of component you want. You can even create your own accordions, your own tabs, and any other new component you want to create, you can create it and save it as a component. So if that's something that interests you and you want to learn more, stick around for this series and we'll get right into it. The first step toward building a performant website is choosing the right host to store your website, which brings us to the sponsor of today's video. Today's video is sponsored by Cloudways. They are a managed web hosting company which are built for scalability and control. They give you full control over what resources you want to use for your WordPress website. You can go ahead and start for free. They'll give you a 3-day trial to test if it is right for you. And I believe it will be right for you. So you can go ahead and check out Cloudways. And we'll go ahead and now create our website on Cloudways. To manage your WordPress server on Cloudways, you simply head over to unified.cloudways.com. It will take you to your dashboard and you can go ahead and explore the dashboard. You can create a new application. Then you have access to add-ons. You can go ahead and access the Cloudflare Enterprise add-on, Safe Updates add-on, and the support add-on, and so many other add-ons. You also have access to a nice client building report. So if you want to have a report for billing your clients, you can do that. And so many other things. In this case, we're just going to create a new application. Basically, we have a server and then we put the WordPress application inside of that server. So we'll start by creating a new application. Then we just have to give the application a name, which is a WordPress application. The name of the application, I'll call it Builderius Demo. The name of the server, I'm just going to call it DaveDen. And we now have to give it a project. In this case, I'm just going to choose a name called Builderius, or you can create your own project. Then I'll choose the stack as hybrid stack. You can choose any stack you want, either the hybrid or the lightning stack. And then you have access to different types of servers because it is a cloud-based server. That's why it's called Cloudways, because basically it's stored on the cloud. So you can choose to use DigitalOcean or Voltaire or Linode, AWS, Google Cloud. In this example, we're just going to go with DigitalOcean. The nice thing about Cloudways is that you pay for what you use. So if you're not using the services, you can deactivate the services you don't want to use, and they give you an estimate at the bottom. So if you choose DigitalOcean, at the moment, you'll be paying roughly $54 per month. That's for a 4 GB server. If you want to reduce it, you can go down to maybe a 2 GB server, and then you'll be paying about $28 a month. You can also choose any other one. So if, let's say you don't want DigitalOcean, you want AWS, you choose the resources you need, and it will give you the average price on an hourly basis and a monthly basis, because basically you are paying by the hour. So let's go back to DigitalOcean, and I just want a 2 GB server, and the location that's closest to me will be London. It's always good to choose a server closest to where your services will be run, so that people have easier access to the server. Let's go ahead and launch now. While the server is being added, it will take about 7 minutes. You can go ahead and explore other parts of Cloudways. Once the server is created, you can also run multiple applications on the server. So you can have multiple applications on one server, or you can create multiple servers, because sometimes some people like separation of concerns, which is one of the benefits of using this cloud hosting compared to the shared hosting. Because with shared hosting, all of your websites are basically run on the same server with other people's websites. But with cloud hosting, all of your applications are run on your own server. It gives you your own unique IP address and so on. Now that the server has been created, we can go over to our applications, and I can see my WordPress application. I can go ahead and preview it, and it comes with the 2025 theme, or we can go ahead and access it. So we now have access to our new application. This is the application URL, the username, and the password. So let's go ahead and access the admin portal. I'll put in my username and my password. Now that we've created our WordPress server and our website, we can now go ahead and start installing our theme and our plugins. The important plugin we need is the Builderius plugin. So let's go ahead and see how we can install Builderius. The first thing you need to do is head over to your plugins. You head over to Add Plugin, and you simply search for Builderius. This is the free version. The current version is version 1.1. So let's go ahead and install it. And I'll activate it. Okay, now we have Builderius installed. Then the next thing I'll do is go ahead and we can now get the Pro version. You can get the Pro version by heading over to DaveDen's link /Builderius. And you can go ahead and purchase your Builderius. At the moment, they still have the early bird price of $59 for the LTD. You just pay once, or $129 for unlimited websites. So you can either choose $59 if you want to go for the smaller plan, or you go for the professional plan, which is the $129. The prices will increase soon, in about 12 days. So you can lock in your price now if you're just watching the video as it is released. So once you've gotten Builderius, you can now head over to your account to download the Builderius Pro, and make sure you download the latest version. Try to compare it is version 1.0 beta, and then they tell you that the minimum free version that you can install is the 1.1 beta. So anything before that will break. The compatibility will not be okay. So you have to make sure that you have both installed to the latest version. Now go ahead and download the archive. And it has been downloaded. Then the next thing we'll do is go back to our WordPress website. I'll go to my plugins and add plugin, upload plugin. Then I'll drop in the archive that I downloaded, which is called Builderius Pro 1.0 beta. Install. And now the Pro version has been installed. I'll go ahead and activate it. And that's it. The next thing you need to do is add your license. So I'll go over to Builderius and then settings. The way Builderius works is that the license is specific to the website. So you have to create a license for each website. So you can go ahead and click on My Account. It will take you back to your account. You go over to Sites and you simply get your URL of your website. You only need the domain name. You don't need any of the HTTPS or anything after, just the domain name. And you can create site activation key with the domain name. So I'll press submit. It has been created. We can now go ahead and refresh the page. And I can copy my new activation key, go back to my website and paste that key. Activate. And now the Builderius has been activated. So that is how you can install and activate your Builderius website. So now we can go ahead and see some of the features that are available in Builderius. And in the next video, we will show you how to create templates. Once you've successfully activated Builderius, the first point I will encourage you to check out is the Builderius home. So from your admin dashboard, head over to Builderius and then home. And then it gives you some information about some of the things you can do with Builderius. To get started, you have to choose one of two options. Either you choose the standard settings, which basically creates some demo pages for you. So it creates your templates and then it adds a header and a footer so that you have a good starting point. It also includes the Builderius CSS framework, which is a lightweight framework, and some other things. If you prefer to have everything like a blank slate and you add all of your code yourself, so no CSS will be added by Builderius, literally nothing, not even a reset CSS, then you can choose the minimal settings. I'll encourage you to use the minimal settings if you are going to be using a CSS framework like ACSS or Core framework or any other kind of CSS framework. But if you want to go with the Builderius framework, then I encourage you to use the standard settings. So let's go ahead and create the standard settings. And I don't want to create a publish. I'll also explain about publish release in a future video. But let's go ahead and install. And here's what it comes with. So now if you go over to templates, you see that it creates a few templates for you. Pages, posts, archive template, 404 template, and the blog index template. Then the other settings that you can see here are form submissions. So when you create forms and the forms are submitted, you get your form submissions in a nice little window. And then finally, you have releases. Builderius has a kind of Git workflow. So what happens is when you first start building your website with Builderius, everything that you've created in Builderius will stay in what they call the development branch. So all of the things you create will not be shown to the public. They will be stored in a kind of development branch. Once you are happy with it, then you can do what's called a release. So basically, you're now moving from the development branch to a live branch. and you're creating it as a save point, basically, which means that if you ever want to go back in time, you can go back to a previous snapshot and you can quickly switch between different snapshots. So that's one thing that makes Builderius quite powerful compared to other page builders, is that Builderius has that workflow of a professional, which is that you have the development cycle. Once you're happy with the development, you go over to live. The releases also has some other features, which I will explain in a future video. But for now, just know that the release is basically a way to move from your development to live. After you've created your templates, the next thing you need to do is now create your pages. So I'll go ahead and create a page. I'll create a new page called the home page. So let's create one page called home. I'll go ahead and publish it. When working with 2025 theme, one thing I like to do is go over to the three dots at the top right of the screen and then head over to preferences, and I make sure that I deactivate show starter patterns, because I'm using a page builder. I don't really need to see the starter patterns from the block. I'll deactivate that setting and that's it. We can now go back. You go ahead and create all of the other pages you need. So I can go ahead and create maybe a new page called blog, and maybe another one called about, and finally a contact page, because I think those are like the standard pages that come with most websites. So I'll create those pages. The next thing I like to do is to go over to my settings and go through the settings basically. So you can change the site title, you can change things like the site language, the time zone to fit your specific website. Then go over to reading, change the homepage from static to the correct homepage. I'll choose homepage and the blog page, and you can go ahead and discourage search engines for now. You wouldn't do that on your live website, but because this is a demo website, I can activate this, deactivate search engines, and then I can save changes. And yeah, that's it. Now we can start working with Builderius. If I go over to my pages now and I go over to home page, you can see it is now the front page. If I choose to edit the page, you now see an option called Edit with Builderius. If I click on that, it now takes me to the Builderius interface. Within the Builderius interface, it's quite simple. On the left is where you have your inserter for your elements, and also where you get all of your settings for your elements. So it switches between the inserter and the settings for any element that is highlighted. On the right-hand side is where you have your navigator. So you can go ahead and see all of your structure of the HTML. So the right-hand side, you see the structure of the HTML. The left-hand side, you see the properties of that element you've selected, or when you are creating a new element, you see the new elements that you can add. At the top of the builder interface, you get access to your preview and you get access to your media queries. So you have to go desktop, tablet, mobile, and you can also create new ones. So if I click on the three dots, you can have access to change the values for the max width, and then you can decide to go with mobile first, desktop first, depending on how you like to work in your own workflow. And that's it for the interface. At the bottom, if you have Builderius Pro, you now have some extra options at the bottom. That is only available to Pro users. If you're a free user, you don't have access to the options at the bottom. That's where you can get things like your dynamic data, and in the future, you have access to things like accessibility, insights, and some other nice features. So yeah, this is just a basic intro into Builderius and how to start using Builderius. In the next video, we'll go ahead to explain some of the different features of Builderius. If you enjoyed the video, do leave a thumbs up. Let me know what features of Builderius you want me to explore further, and I will incorporate that into the series. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.